In today's podcast episode, we're talking about time blocking. We're diving into how to make a plan for your day to help you stay focused and energized, especially if you're an introvert. Hi, I'm Mariela. I teach introverts who work remotely how to create easy, healthy habits so that they have energy and focus without routines that feel forced or only last 2 weeks. In this podcast, I share what I'm learning about what introverts need to focus on what's important to them and to manage their time and energy well. We'll look at everyday examples and how you can create healthy habits that help you to naturally excel in your work and your life. Why is time blocking hard? If you're interested in time management or if you're struggling with procrastination, time blocking can be helpful. I've tried it many times over the years and it was tough to find a method that really worked for me. A time blocking method that helped me to make the most of my time and energy. As an introvert who runs a business from home and has a family, managing my energy is really important. But time blocking can be hard to do. Some of the members of Productive Introvert community that I've spoken with, they say that they start using methods like time blocking and feel good about it at first. They're getting things done. But after a few days or weeks, they find it hard to stick to their plan. It takes up a lot of energy. They feel tired all the time and they start procrastinating on important things. Then they think time blocking doesn't work and they stop using it. The problem isn't so much that time blocking doesn't work for introverts or can't work for you. The problem is often that when we use time blocking, we're being too strict with how we're planning our day. The examples that I've seen where time blocking feels really hard to do, a person is either forcing themselves to stick to the plan no matter what, or they try one way of time blocking and if it doesn't work, they give up on planning their day altogether. Today, we'll talk about different ways to time block and how to be flexible with time blocking if having a strict schedule isn't right for you. This way, you can find a way of time blocking that works for you. What is time blocking? Time blocking is like making a plan for your day. You plan your day by setting aside certain times to do certain things or certain activities. Like saying, I'm going on a call from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and then I'm going to read a book from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. But there's more than one way to do this. I'm going to tell you about 3 ways to time block. The 3 time blocking methods that we're going to talk about are activity time blocking, energy time blocking, and theme days. I use a mix of these methods myself, and that works great for me. But remember, what works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. I'll also give you tips that can help you to plan your day to feel more focused and more energized, especially if you're an introvert. There are also other ways to time block that we won't talk about today. If you want to learn about them, I'll put some links in the description for you to check out. Let's start with the first method, activity time blocking. This is a lot like the usual way of time blocking, sometimes called traditional or basic time blocking. Here's how it works. You pick a time like 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and you choose a task or activity that you're going to focus on during that time. This is really good because you only focus on one thing at a time. You don't get distracted and you don't keep switching between tasks. Switching tasks is like jumping from one thing to another. It's like trying to read a book and watch TV at the same time. Every time you switch tasks, your brain needs a little time to catch up. That's why switching tasks can make you lose focus and waste time. Time blocking is good because it stops you from switching tasks too much. Some people try to plan every minute of their day. This can be hard to do. A lot of people think that the only way to time block is to schedule every single thing into your calendar, but this isn't true. For some people, being really strict with their plan works really well, but others need more flexibility. Whether planning your day in detail like this works for you depends on your lifestyle and your habit style. If you like having a plan and knowing what to do next, you may have the builder's mortar habit style. In that case, planning your day in detail can help you to focus, and it's very helpful. An extreme example of this is Elon Musk, who likes to plan his day in 5-minute blocks. But if you like to be more flexible, you may have one of the other habit styles. In that case, planning your whole day can make you feel stressed, and you might start procrastinating. That's because too much planning can feel too strict or stifling to you. It can also feel like it's limiting your creativity. Some tips to activity time block in a way that works for you. First, get a sense of your habit style. Ask yourself if knowing what to do at each moment of the day makes you feel relaxed or stressed. If it's relaxing, then detailed time blocking could be worth a try. For example, scheduling your work activities, but also lunch breaks, reflection breaks, and things like that could help to give the structure that you need to feel good about your day. If it feels stressful, you probably need a bit more flexibility. In both cases, play around with the length of the time blocks that you use and how you define the activity that you focus on. I like a bit of flexibility in my day, and I use very broad time blocks and a mix of different lengths. My activities are sometimes very clearly defined and sometimes a bit more vague, so I have more space to explore and play around. Right now, the first hour of most of my days, I spend reflecting and thinking about the bigger picture of my work, and then I might spend an hour on social media, answering messages, or I might spend a couple hours working on a podcast episode, for example. Don't feel like you need to plan your day in a certain way just because someone else does it that way. There are no rules. The second method is energy time blocking. With this method, you look at your energy levels and adjust the activities and time blocks based on that. This is good because it helps you to manage your energy and manage your time at the same time. Your energy levels move up and down throughout the day. A lot of introverts struggle with feeling tired all the time, so time blocking based on your energy levels is very helpful to get your work done without depleting your energy. Although working from 9 to 5 is traditional in the workplace, a lot of people who work remotely also roughly stick to working between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Remote work is increasing, and more people are starting to realize that a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. routine isn't always the best. Here are some tips to help you plan your day in a way that matches your energy levels. First, find out when you feel you're most awake, sharp, and ready to tackle hard tasks. This is your peak moment. Some people have their peak moment in the morning, others in the afternoon, or yours could be at night. Try to do your hardest tasks during this time. Second, think about which activities make you feel tired and which ones don't. Remember that our attention span is short. We can usually focus for about 45 minutes before we need a break. And after working 3 to 4 hours, most of us start to feel really tired and become less productive. People who use energy time blocking well do the tasks that need a lot of energy first. And then when they start feeling tired, switch to easier tasks. They take breaks in between. This way, you can get your important tasks done and still have energy left. You won't feel tired all the time because you're working with your natural energy level. For example, I have my peak in the morning, but I like to start my day slowly. I get up early. I am a morning person, and so is my son. So we're up between 5 and 6 a.m., but the first couple hours of the day are usually family time. We have breakfast together, and I might do some cooking or cleaning. These type of activities don't take up a lot of energy for me. This may be different for you. Cooking or cleaning could be a high energy task for you. And there is no right or wrong. The only thing is to be aware of it and adjust as you need to. Then I'll work on the things that need the most focus, and I take a break whenever I need one. After lunch, I switch to low energy activities for me, listening to podcasts, and I'll do whatever cooking or cleaning still needs to get done. Even though I am still active, these activities don't take up a lot of energy. They do relax me in a way, and especially things like listening to podcasts or reading, that gives me inspiration for the next day. This routine works really well for me and for my family at the moment. It has changed over time. Yours might be totally different. The point is to forget about all the rules, about routines and habits, and to figure out what works best for you. The last method is theme days. In this one, you give a theme to each day, and you do activities within that theme. For example, Monday is check-in with clients, Tuesday is writing content, Wednesday is networking, etc. I'm just making these up. This can work well because a theme can help you to focus and to stay on top of different areas of your life. At the same time, it gives a lot of flexibility because you can work on anything within a theme and not just a specific activity like with activity time blocking. It's also helpful if you need longer stretches of time with the work that you do. Someone I know is a programmer and he can rarely get things done in 1 hour. He really needs blocks of at least 3 hours to really get into it and to make progress. Here are some tips to help with theme days. People also run into problems here when they're too strict with their theme days. For example, I'm supposed to be networking today, so I'm not allowed to work on this content piece, even when all their attention is pulled toward this other thing. I believe that if all your attention is being pulled to something, there's a reason for it. And I encourage people to go with that enthusiasm because it's usually a very important part of their unique process. And again, any method that you use is supposed to support your process. So if it becomes an obstacle, it's time to start tweaking. I've seen people use theme days very successfully. Mike Vardy from oh my gosh, this is a tongue twister. From Productivityist. Yes, I said it. You don't know how many takes. Mike Vardy from Productivityist has used this successfully in the past. He wrote about how it especially helped him to have a better work-life balance and to be a better dad because he had dedicated days off to spend with his family. For me, I use theme days in a little bit of an unconventional way. I actually give myself permission not to do something as a theme. I have a mix of different things and different areas every day. That works really well for me. So I have some reflection, I have some home maintenance, and I have connection, talking to people and replying to messages, but I have no connection days. I don't reply to any messages or even check my messages on those days. It helps me to relax and to prevent introvert hangover. Time blocking can be helpful to plan your day. 3 different ways that we talked about. I gave a few tips to help you think about how you can use it in a way that works for you. The main thing I want you to remember is that there are no rules. Want to stick to one time blocking method for a while because it feels great? That's awesome. Want to use a mix of a bunch of different methods like I do? That's great too. Don't do something just because you see other people doing it that way. There isn't one way to do something. There are thousands of ways, and they're all right, as long as it's right for you. If you thought this podcast was helpful, please share it with a friend. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and talk soon. Thank you for listening to the Productive Introvert Community Podcast. If you're an introverted entrepreneur and you're ready to thrive in your own way, then connect with me on thefrankermessage.com/contact.